Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? You can call me Nandi. I am a woman that comes from Zim, but currently I am working here in South Africa. These are some of the things that I was told by the Somalian men that I used to work for. At that time, I was living in Pretoria. Then I went and I started staying in Brits. Whilst I was working in Brits, that was when I was told by the Somalian man that I used to work for. He told me that his kids were getting possessed. They started getting possessed after he had been keeping some clothes at his house, because he had a very big house in the plots. And he told me the reason as to why he never wanted to keep the stock at his house after he would have received the second-hand clothes that they sell to other people, and even selling one by one outside. Those are the clothes that you can buy as second-hand, including the handbags. He said he did not want his kids to touch them or to keep them at his house, because they made his children to be possessed by little devils. At that time, before I had started working for this man, I was just suffering. I used to stay with this other cousin sister of mine. Whilst I was staying with the cousin sister of mine, my cousin sister, she had her husband. So her husband, the way that he used to look at me, I saw that the man was in love with me. The challenge was that maybe he was scared to tell me that he wanted to sleep with me, and at the same time I had made a vow to myself to never sleep with him, for he was married to my sister. And when he saw that he was unable to come forward with his story to tell me that he was in love with me, that was when he started mistreating me. You know, when you are staying with a couple and they fight each and every day, as a visitor, it makes you to feel so bad, because you'll be like, I am the one that is causing all of these situations. What can I do in this situation? Then you find out that there is nothing that you can do. And then that was when I told her that I wanted to look for a job, after she had also told me that I was the one that was making the situation to be even worse. She was forever fighting with her own husband. That is how I ended up in Brits, and I was working for that Somalian guy who used to sell second-hand clothes. Brother Nashi, life is very difficult. In order for me to get this job, a man had to sleep with me. The man who connected me with my Somalian boss, he said, I am not just going to give you a job for nothing. You need to sleep with me. So I ended up sleeping with him. So we used to work in Pretoria. Then we would go to Marabastad, you know, that area. There are a lot of weird stuff that goes around. Sangomas, so many people. So this Somalian guy, he owned another place in Marabastad where he would sell the clothes to other people. He would buy these clothes in Tanzania in bulk, and then he would bring it to the country. This is the way that they used to bring these second-hand clothes here in South Africa. So there will be trucks that will be traveling from Tanzania coming to South Africa. So they will be carrying beans, and it will not all be beans, but it will be beans mixed with the old clothes that he would have bought there in Tanzania, and then the clothes will be smuggled into South Africa, the handbags, and then they will start to sell the handbags. This man, he was making a lot of money. I don't know if your listeners have ever witnessed this. You know, when you open a second-hand bell that is full of the second-hand clothes, there is this other smell that will be there. So the man told me that usually that smell, it will be like blood, because the clothes, they are used for sacrifices. He told me that there was a time when he had bought some clothes. He bought those clothes in bulk, and this was after he had bought his house in the plots. So at the place where he was staying, he had 3 garages, and he was only using one garage to park his car. The purpose of the other 2 garages, he wanted to use it as a storage. when they get the clothes, he will store it at his farm and later on bring it into town. But he said the idea did not go according to plan. After they had received the clothes and packed them at his house, he said that his children, they started to behave as if they were under the possession of a devil. He was like, you see, you Christians, he was even giving me an example. This was like way back before I even knew that there is a platform that is called YouTube. He went on YouTube and he started showing me videos of how we Christians pray, sometimes rolling on the floor, crying, laughing by the power of the Holy Spirit. He was like, that is what his children were doing. And this was not the Holy Spirit, it was the possession of the demons. And he knew that it was what was going on. Then he said he went to Dar es Salaam to buy stock directly because he wanted to cut his costs so that he can make more profit. In the meantime, he had a middleman that used to buy the second-hand clothes for him in Tanzania and then bring them over to South Africa for him. He went there and he said once he was in Dar es Salaam, like he knew the man whom he used to buy the clothes from, but indirectly. He was also a Muslim like him, so they started to trust each other. And that man told my Somalian boss everything that happens. When he was taken to a warehouse, he said just outside of the city, he saw that there were traditional healers that were there, that were working for that man that used to supply him, and they were holding some buckets that were full of blood, but not that type of blood that can stain the clothes. So they were just pouring that blood, the liquid, on the jackets, on the clothes, as they were putting all the cases on the second-hand clothes. And he was also told that in India, what they do is that when you see that there is a spirit that has been troubling you, maybe it is the spirit of poverty, you have a business but that business is like collapsing. So in their religion, what they do is that you go to the temple and you speak with a priest. So that priest will tell you to go back home to pack all of your clothes. After you would have packed all of your clothes, then you are supposed to bring it to the temple, or you are told to go and sell all of your clothes that you have in your house. And after you would have sold it, you are not supposed to use that money for your personal use. You can only give the money to other poor Indians that will be begging for the money in the streets. If you do not do that, you are supposed to give the clothes out for free, or you are supposed to take the clothes to the temple. Then the temple will sell the clothes to those companies that will then bring those second-hand clothes mixed with other second-hand clothes to Africa. So when you buy clothes that have been cursed like that, you have to know that it is the clothes of another person that will be troubled by the spirits of poverty, curses, bad luck, and then they throw away the second-hand clothes and you go and you buy all of those curses. This man, he stopped the business that he was doing, for he said, I cannot continue doing a business like this. I do not want to have curses on my life. He changed the business that he was doing. There was even a woman that I was working with. This woman, I will call her Fifi. She was from Zim as well. So she had her own child back home in Zim. So after she had raised some money, she was like, I want to start my own business. I will buy these second-hand clothes and transport them to Zim, and my mom can sell them for me in Gweru. She started running a business, and I was scared because of what I had been told by my Somalian boss. Brother Nashi, you know what happened? This woman's child committed suicide in a very funny way. That is what happened to that woman. So I stopped working for that Somalian man and I moved out of the province and I came to where I am staying right now. So I don't know what are people going to do with this information, but as for me, I do not even want to buy second-hand clothes, second-hand handbags that you just see being sold in the street, for you do not know who the previous owner of the clothes was. Just imagine Maybe the person was told that they have bad luck, so they curse all of their personal items, and those second-hand personal items are brought over to Africa, and you buy them and you start wearing them. This is my own confession. That is what I heard from my previous Somalian boss. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Do you believe that this is what happens? She is saying that she was told this by her own boss. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section.